One of the most fascinating thought experiments that I've ever conducted is to ask yourself this genuine question. Genuinely ask yourself this. Had you been alive during the Second World War in Germany, had all your friends been Nazis, had your parents been Nazis, had you been applauded for falling in line and scolded when you did not, could you have been a Nazi? And I bet you anything, all of you are saying no. Not in 1,000 years. You never would have. How are you any different than those individuals? Are you just somehow enlightened? Your brain fires off in the same way. We have the same computers in our minds. The brain chemistry is the same. We're made of the same stuff. We have the same capacity for good, the same capacity for evil. It's the external forces and how we navigate those. So if you really genuinely do not think that you, in any parallel universe, perhaps, let's just say, could have ever fallen in line and done something so bad, perhaps be more honest with yourself. Be honest about your own capacity. For making the wrong decision. It's absolutely possible that you can. There's something that's within us. That's why we have this conversation of good and evil that's since biblical times. It's an archetype that's existed forever. Let's just use an example, Harry Potter. When in doubt. Once again, the Chamber of Secrets. And the snake, living beneath the surface for all those years it was there. Book 1, it was there. And it's waiting for the proper time for the heir of Slytherin to arrive, and then the chamber will be opened again. The capacity that's within you, the wrong thing comes along, it's just waiting for that one thing to come along, and then it will open, and that monster comes out. So what do? You could just leave the snake to be down there. Yes, in the second books, people started turning to stone. That was bad. But you could... It's been there for hundreds of years. That was the whole mystery. Why all of a sudden is it actually messing with people? It's been there this whole time. So do you confront it or do you ignore it? It'd be a lot easier to ignore. Let's take another analogy. The piece of Voldemort that is within Harry Potter. As we realize in the very last book that there's a piece of the most evil person in that world within him. And he must voluntarily walk to his own demise in order to be reborn. Does that sound familiar? I like to think of there's light and dark, good and evil, up and down, night and day. The world is a constant push and pull between two dualities, left and right. Perhaps it's politically. Strive to be not too far on either polar opposite. I mean, strive to do what's logical above all. But we've seen what happens when one side goes too far. We've seen what happens when the right can go too far. And if you don't think the left can go too far, then you're not being logically consistent. What's a case of the left going too far? Ask yourself that question. Can you provide an example? There's some debate around communism. I think that could be an example. I know that the word socialism is now considered different by some. But the point is that there are two dualities, and going too far to one extreme or the other is dangerous.